Okay, you had the Arab oil embargo, and I can't get the timeline right, but this has to have occurred. Nixon and Kissinger talked to King Faisal, and Nixon was all in favor of invading Saudi Arabia. I mean, Saudi Arabia had no army. But Kissinger had a better idea. He convinced King Faisal to denominate all OPEC oil. Well, whoever was in charge, Secretary of the OPEC, it changes out. I don't know if Saudi was Secretariat of the OPEC, but they were the most important player in OPEC. Convinced Faisal to denominate his oil in dollars, and the petrodollar was born. So the United States got off gold in 1971. Now it got onto the petrodollar. So if anyone wants to buy or sell oil, they have to do it in dollars. They have to convert their currency in the currency markets to dollars to buy the oil. So again, the whole world wanted U.S. dollars. So exports, the United States was flooded with imports. So we get stuff so we can export dollars, and for a long time our USA's leading export was US dollars, and sovereign wealth funds were just packed with US dollars. So that state of affairs existed until Saddam Hussein defeated the Hashemites, and the Ba'ath Party took over Iraq, and Saddam Hussein, being the absolute classical tyrant, he immediately started a war with Iran. He's a bitter enemy of Iran, so he started a war with Iran. And that was a second oil shock. This time, it really affected the industry. Not only the price of oil double or triple again, the oil industry started to go nuts. We had inflation, and so U.S. industry was really having a hard time of it, but the oil industry just exploded in a totally unsustainable boom. And what happens with booms, oil booms, because you have a boom that puts more supply in the market. When you have too much supply, the price of oil collapses. And nothing's ever done seamlessly. Everything has to be done catastrophically. So you had this catastrophic boom followed by a catastrophic bust. And that bust lasted all the 1980s and most of the 1990s. Whole towns were wiped out. Texas towns became ghost towns. Lafayette, my town, became full of hollowed out buildings. So, and the price of oil declined, and the U.S. economy took off because oil industry, what benefits the oil industry is detrimental to the rest of the economy, because the rest of the economy needs cheap transportation costs. And so Reagan had his economic boom on the back of the oil field. So that occurred in the 1980s, and the world got kind of used to it. The Saddam Hussein attack in Iraq was a brief blip. It didn't have any long-term effect, basically because if Kuwait or Iraq pump out the oil market doesn't care as long as it gets the oil. He doesn't care who owns the oil, as long as the oil is in the market. Okay, I'll go to the next thread.